Hey, back again with another video. Just answering some questions you guys have asked in the recent videos. So let's just get started here. First question. I'd love to hear what you ate in a typical day during your weight loss, and if you're still eating the same now that you're super lean. Well, I'm actually still losing, I don't know. I'm 130 pounds today. I'm trying to get to the lowest weight that I can be, like, healthily, you know? So I actually don't know what that number is. I'm just going based on how I feel, and I still feel very good, and my body's not telling me I'm too low. I'm too low of weight yet. I'm still eating this in a weight loss, phase or whatever you would say. And a typical day is basically fruit, juice, sugar, and vegetables. No starch. So far today, I had celery juice, apple juice, just sugar water and Gatorade, and what else did I have today? And watermelon with sugar on it, and some butterscotch candies, and that's what I've eaten so far. It's 11:30 in the morning. But yeah, that's pretty much in a typical day. I'll eat that, and then later for lunch, I'll have more fruit, more juice, and then dinner is typically my biggest meal, and it'll just be cooked veggies, steamed broccoli, steamed carrots, and a big salad. And then usually before I go to sleep, I'll have dates and more juice, just to make sure that I'm super full and I'm not going to wake up hungry in the night. And if I do wake up hungry in the night, then I just have bottles of Snapple next to my bed, and I'll just drink, half a Snapple, or sometimes I'll just chug an entire bottle of Snapple if I wake up hungry, which I try to eat enough at dinner so that doesn't happen. But yeah, that's a typical day of what I eat during. And I have, for a little bit, I was just maintaining. It was like maybe 135 pounds, and what I was eating during just like maintenance was just more starch. I added in oats and rice, and during dinner I'd have more protein. So still relatively low fat. I mean, still way low fat compared to, your average person's diet, but just added starch and protein and a little bit of fat back in. So, yeah. Okay, so next question. Were you in a calorie deficit? I'm on day 4 and have only lost a pound. I'm pretty religious about tracking my food and have been getting between 1,000 to 1,500 calories. Straight fruit and fruit juice. I've had a few pickles here and there. I did just start coming off a 72-hour fasting cycle for about 3 weeks. So first off, losing a pound in 4 days that's great. That's not, I know that Cole always says, 30 pounds in 30 days or 100 pounds in 100 days, but in 4 days and 1 pound, that's actually a lot of weight loss. So that's not, like, I wouldn't say only a pound. That's good. So was I in a calorie deficit? I don't count my calories. I just eat enough that I'm not like floundering around, and I'm not, like, I have energy. I don't eat a specific number of calories. So was I in a calorie deficit? I mean, I think you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, but that's kind of the beauty of eating this way, is it doesn't feel like you're in a calorie deficit, because usually when you're in a calorie deficit, you have no energy, and you feel terrible. And when you eat this way, you're losing weight, but you have crazy amounts of energy. So was I in a calorie deficit? Not intentionally, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I mean, technically, yeah, it is intentionally. I ate an extremely low fat diet, so that part was intentional, but like intentionally eating the lowest amount of food possible, that's not what I did. And also, if you're coming off of, doing fasting or whatever, you may need to heal your metabolism. Like, it may be like you may have slowed your metabolism down by doing that fasting. So there could be like a grace period here where you got to just, you know what I mean? You may have to get through, a few weeks until your metabolism ramps up and things start going, the way they're supposed to be. So yeah, I would just keep doing exactly what you're doing. A pound in 4 days, that's good. And it seems to be working. So just keep at it. Do you fast or eat anytime? No, I don't fast. I never have fasted ever. And I eat I know that Cole says eat twice a day. I eat honestly all day long, basically. Like what I do is I just have kind of like a small breakfast, and then I snack, when I get hungry before lunch, then a small lunch, and then snack until dinner, and then I have a big dinner. So I'm probably eating like, I don't know, 6 to 8 times a day. And yeah, so if eating two big meals works for you, or one meal, if that works, that never works for me. I'm too hungry doing that. So if that works for you though, then go for it. But I like to eat anytime I get hungry. And I don't and I just generally I'm very busy throughout the morning and afternoon. So I'm fine just having, lighter meals more frequently, basically. Were you in a calorie deficit during weight loss? Again, I kind of answered this one in the last question. No, I wasn't counting my calories. I did, however, count my calories just a few days ago, just as an experiment. And I ate 3,000 calories, and then my watch claimed I burned like 3,100 calories. But again, we don't really know. You know what I mean? Like it's all a guess. Did I really burn that many calories? I could have burned more, I could have burned less. And as far as, counting your food calories, nobody can really know how many calories are in, a strawberry or a watermelon. Maybe that watermelon was picked early, so it's going to have less sugar content in the watermelon, and that's going to be less calories, So counting calories is kind of all a guess at best. But yeah, that's why I just eat based on how I feel, and make sure I have enough energy to get what I need to get done, throughout the day. And if I see that my energy is tanking, then I know I need to eat something, and I'll eat. So my wife is doing this with me. She takes collagen peptides once daily, no carbs or fat, but adds 9 grams of protein. Do you think that matters toward weight loss? I mean, 9 grams of protein is pretty minuscule, so I wouldn't stress about that. And actually, whenever I lost a lot of weight, and I was still having protein, small amounts of protein, and I was actually still eating starch too. But I noticed that once I cut all protein and all starch out, it was so much faster. The weight loss was way faster, but I was still losing weight, even having, small amounts of protein. So at 9 grams, I don't think that's a big deal at all. And I wouldn't stress about that. Thoughts on throwing in white rice or potatoes during the day? I'm in New Hampshire, and the full warm weather days have not hit yet. Just not loving all the fruit. I can slug the juice, though, which is odd. Something about drinking it versus eating it sounds more appealing. Yeah, kind of like what I said in the last one. I did lose a lot of weight eating white rice and potatoes still. But I just noticed you get way faster weight loss whenever you cut the starch out. So, I mean, it depends on, really what your goal is. If you're looking to lose weight as fast as possible, then I would cut it out. But if that's what you need to, if you need to eat starch to feel satiated and make this whole thing sustainable, then 100% do that. But you know what I mean? If that's going to prevent you from going and eating a bunch of fatty, greasy, high protein food, then do that. It's not a big deal. Just know that it will slow down the process a little. But again, depends on what your goal is. Can someone please tell me their sugar fast routine? If I do 2 or 3 sugar bombs, how much sugar and how much water? Can I do a liter with 2 to 3 tablespoons sugar? And in between, what would I drink? Snake juice, plain water? It's kind of an individual question because it depends on what you do, I'm on the bike and I run a lot. So I would need way more than just, 2 to 3 tablespoons of sugar. But if you're sedentary and you're not doing much, that could be enough for you. But as far as whenever if I'm taking sugar water on the bike, I'll do, I think it's like a half a cup scoop in 20 ounces of water. And that seems to be a good ratio. But again, you just depends on your preference, and how sweet you want it to be. And in between, if you need salt, then, eat a pickle or have some salt. Like I said, I have all my salt at dinner. whenever I eat a bunch of cooked veggies, and that's when I'm getting in all my salt for the day. So, any idea how many calories you were eating during weight loss and how many you have now that you reach your goal? Yeah, this I kind of already answered this one too. I'm still losing weight. I'm basically at my goal, so I'm still basically on the sugar fasting. And again, how many calories? Well, the other day I ate 3,000. But I suppose if I ate 3,000 the other day and still lost weight, then I probably would have needed to eat, I don't know, I have no idea, somewhere around 3,500, Again, that's the thing with calories is how can you really know? But in the times of maintenance, I just eat, when you add a little bit of protein and the starch back in, and then you just eat until you're nice and full. It basically works itself out, and you flatline and you maintain. So thanks for the questions, and I hope that was helpful to you guys. And if you have anything else you want to ask, let me know, and I'll make another Q&A video like this. So yeah, thanks. Bye.